Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Tom Worth Jr. and today we're going to talk about dereliction of duty as pertaining to one Donald J. Trump. Today's shirt is Lukenbach, Texas, and that is probably 10 minutes from a town called Fredericksburg, which is right next to where LBJ grew up down in the hill country, central Texas. There is a National Museum of the Pacific in honor of Admiral Chester Nimitz, who was World War II admiral, and he's from there. And in that museum, there are exhibits there. Outside of it, there's a courtyard, and it's got, I believe it was busts, I don't remember, but it's pretty big. It's honoring all of the former presidents who were involved with World War II. So you had FDR and Truman, who were the presidents during the conflict, and they served back to back, obviously. And then following Truman, you had, in order, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, LBJ, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush. Every single one of those presidents served in uniform in some capacity during World War II. Those guys got it. They were part of that generation. They understood what it meant to lead in time of war, to serve in time of war, to support in time of war. They would never denigrate people who serve, unlike Donald Trump. But not only people who serve in times of war, but the United States itself. And I found an article from July 2 years ago. They were going to have some January 6 hearings, and it is 7 retired 4-star generals and admirals condemn former President Trump's dereliction of duty. I'm going to read this real quick. 7 retired 4-star generals, and part of their statement was, we each took an oath as former leaders of our nation's armed forces to, quote, support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. We fulfilled that oath through service to civilian leadership, elected by and accountable to the American people. This essential arrangement, however, is not self-executing. It relies on civilian leaders equally committed to protecting and defending the Constitution, including, most importantly, the Commander-in-Chief. Finally, they provide this prescient call to action. The lesson of January 6 is clear. Our democracy is not a given. To preserve it, Americans must demand nothing less from their leaders than an unassailable commitment to country over party and to their oaths above all. End quote. To country over party. Country over party. Donald Trump. People who are voting for Donald Trump. Country over party. Let's just let that sink in. These names that served in World War II in some capacity, these leaders who led during World War II, this is, once again, what's so disturbing about Donald Trump and those who would vote for him in November, that they would not put country over party. Who in their right mind, other than a politician trying to help their own career, would put party over country? I mean, I can't think of anyone. Unless you are a politician, then I can at least see you have a career to worry about. I guess somehow your career is more important than preserving the United States of America. If you are in that kind of position, I might say, look at your career, look at the country, make your decision. That's up to you. That is why the United States is so important, because we all have the ability to make such a decision. And we have to live with that, and we're allowed to do that. Someone like Donald Trump will never put country over party. He will never even put party over himself. As we know, he only puts himself above everything, and his supporters do the same. I would ask his supporters, what do they think? And I'm talking about the rank and file people who will vote for him. And I believe around 70 million people voted for him in 2020. I would say, what do you know that the people who served in Donald Trump's administration, the Legion, people who have turned against Trump both during his administration and since his administration, they came out and gave interviews, they issued statements, they wrote books railing against this man, about how terrible he is for our country, about what a clear and present danger he is to the existence of the United States of America. And you had some kind of nutty people in there who we thought going in, where we might roll our eyes and say, oh my gosh, of course Trump would bring this guy onto his administration. Someone like John Bolton. He is out there. And when Trump brought him on during his administration, people thought, oh my gosh, watch out. What is he bringing this guy in for? But even John Bolton was chased off by what he was seeing in the Trump administration, and came out strongly against it. And I just found that hilarious when it was happening. I'm not looking at his exact quotes here right now, but I remember, man, Trump is even too crazy for the crazy people. Question John Bolton's maybe sanity or approach or something. I wouldn't question his love of this country. That guy seems patriotic to me. Again, I'm in no way condoning or supporting any of his positions, past or present, but he did seem to be all in for America, and even country over party. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for from our elected leaders, whether they're a congressperson or a president. And Donald Trump not only didn't serve his country, but he actively avoided serving his country. I know Vietnam was a different situation than World War II, but he still did it, and that's not okay. I would say that if you are contemplating voting for him, look beyond today, look beyond last week with Arlington National Cemetery, look beyond past, say, D-Day observances or comments going way back that were attacking John McCain. By the way, John McCain's son came out, it might have been today, it might have been yesterday, saying he's switching parties from Republican to, or he's switching to the Democrat Party to vote for Harris and not to vote for Donald Trump. This is a man who is in uniform currently. That's what I had to get off my chest today, is your daily reminder that Trump is uniquely unfit to serve. Particularly when it comes to the armed forces, when it comes to being the commander-in-chief, you can't do that. And if you love America, and if you love what we stand for and what we fight for, then you really can't in good conscience vote to give this man power again and put him in charge of our military and of our plans and of our objectives. The only people we see him actively support verbally are people like Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping, or take your pick of dictators. These are people he admires because they have and they exercise absolute authority over their people and over their country. this is what he admires. This is not America. This is what he would like America to be. He said he absolutely had the right to interfere with the election results. Those are his words over the weekend, over the long holiday weekend. That's not America. I can't say it enough. The system he is trying to instill is not America. It's not the United States of America. And let's all keep that in mind as we contemplate what we're going to do this fall, as we get closer to early voting. That's it. I'm not going to get into any user or reviewer content today. I will say, okay, sorry. I will make one point. There's just a lot of comments now. It's really just the sheer number of comments. It's kind of hard to keep up with, but I try. And there's actually some pretty good stuff that people are bringing up, whether it's sources or reminders of things that happened, or different ways to look at things. So I will say, please keep those coming. I do read. I will read all of them. I may not. I'm not responding to everyone, but I will read them, and I appreciate the scholarship, the well-read people out there, and I'm not so much focused on news of the day and current events, the current news cycle, so much as I am about history and Donald Trump's place in it and how it fits into the larger scheme. So thanks for your contributions. I really appreciate it. Have a good evening, and we will talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.